A swamp of Vela had always been a place of hushed tones and wary glances. Stretching for miles, its black, glassy waters reflected the sky with uncanny clarity. It was ancient, so ancient that no one remembered when the first stories began of things that moved beneath the surface. But on this particular morning, Mara's old eyes noticed what others would not. At 82, Mara's step was slow but sure. A lifetime of studying the natural world, and later, the invisible patterns of the universe, as a physicist had taught her to observe with patience. The early sun painted the swamp in streaks of gold, but it was not the light she watched. It was the ripples. No wind stirred. No insect skated across the surface. And yet, there they were, concentric circles, slow and deliberate, as if made by some massive, unseen body shifting just beneath the surface. Mara narrowed her eyes. Again, she whispered to herself. This was the... She lowered her basket of herbs, heart quickening, not with fear, but with that old, almost forgotten thrill of discovery. Mara lived alone at the swamp's edge, in a small cottage that had belonged to her grandmother. The townsfolk thought her eccentric. After all, what kind of woman retired from teaching advanced optics at the university just to brew salves and teas in a decaying swamp? But Mara knew the swamp had secrets. She had suspected it for years. Every morning and evening, she documented the wave patterns. She recorded them in a worn leather journal, along with sketches of their symmetry. Perfect rings, elliptical distortions, occasional spirals. And then there was the silence. The birds avoided the center of the swamp. The frogs, so loud elsewhere, fell quiet near the strange ripples. Mara had lived too long, seen too much, to believe in simple coincidence. Mara returned at dusk, carrying a hand-polished mirror, an heirloom from her late husband, himself an artisan of fine metals. The mirror's surface was flawless, reflecting not only light, but the faintest distortions around it. She rowed her small boat out toward the heart of the swamp. The water below darkened, and the air grew still. Then she saw it, not with her eyes, but with the mirror. A patch of water refracted the light strangely. The stars' reflections wavered unnaturally in one spot, like the night itself was bending. The mirror amplified the distortion. And then, movement. A massive form gliding beneath her boat. A long, sinuous body, no scales, no armor, transparent, as if made of flowing crystal. A dragon. Her breath caught, but she did not panic. Instead, she whispered, "I see you." Mara placed the mirror gently into the water, letting it float. "Do you know what you are?" she asked softly. The dragon paused beneath her, and the ripples calmed. The mirror trembled and drifted toward the distortion in the water. And then, light. From deep below, bioluminescent veins along the dragon's body pulsed faintly, illuminating its outline for the first time in millennia. It gazed at its reflection, as if seeing itself for the first time. The swamp seemed to hold its breath. Mara felt tears prick her eyes. That night, Mara dreamed, but it was not her dream alone. In the dream, she saw a world not Earth. A vast alien city, towers of glass, ships that sailed not through air, but through the fabric of space itself. The dragon was smaller then, one of many bioengineered guardians of an alien race that had come seeking a new home. But the settlers perished, undone by Oath's biology. The dragons, bred to protect, survived, forgotten relics of a failed colony, the last of its kind. Mara woke, breathless. Days turned to weeks. Mara visited the dragon often, bringing polished stones, mirrored metals, anything that could help it see its form. The dragon began to rise more frequently, creating great rings on the water as it surfaced briefly. It responded to Mara's voice, to her songs, to her quiet presence. It communicated through waves, precise pulses that Mara learned to interpret, like Morse code made of water. They shared knowledge. She taught it about the world as it was now. It shared memories of a galaxy-spanning civilization that had forgotten Earth. But peace never lasts. The mining consortium, TerraCore Industries, arrived with heavy machines and greedy eyes. Satellite scans had revealed rare minerals beneath Vela Swamp. The swamp would be drained, the land strip-mined, and its ancient guardian destroyed, before humanity ever knew it existed. Mara tried to warn the townsfolk, the media, anyone who would listen. But who would believe an old woman speaking of invisible dragons? On the eve of destruction, the machines rumbled toward the swamp. But the dragon was no longer hiding. Rising from the water, it revealed its vast form. Light-bending hide shimmering in moonlight, its bioluminescence blazing. It churned the swamp into a maelstrom, hurling back machines with waves and sound waves so powerful they shattered glass and steel. Mara stood at its side, holding up her mirror, the signal they had agreed upon. Together, human and dragon defended the ancient waters. Cameras captured it. The world saw the dragon and the truth of Mara's words. The swamp was declared a protected site, a monument not only to Earth's history, but to a forgotten chapter of galactic heritage. Scientists flocked to study the dragon, but it remained elusive, surfacing only for Mara. TerraCore's plans were abandoned, its executives disgraced, and humanity, for the first time, looked to the stars and wondered, what other ancient bonds have we forgotten? Mara lived out her days at the swamp's edge, guardian and friend to the last of the crystal dragons. When she passed, a monument was erected in her honor. Mara of the Mirror, the woman who listened to water, and deep in the swamp, when the light is right, some say you can still see the ripples, the dragon watching, waiting, and remembering.